Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of how I signed $10,000 a month in reoccurring agency retainers in 30 days. Now, before we get into this video, I want you to go ahead and smash that like button if you want to see more videos like this. And because we're kicking it back today, I'm taking you guys back to 2017, back to a point where I was, to be honest, struggling as an agency owner going into the turn of the new year. So I definitely appreciate a like on this video. It really helps the algorithm and helps the channel grow. So as I said, we gotta take things back to early 2017, and it's been approximately 6 months going into the month of March since I've signed another SMMA client. My first ever SMA client was actually my old football club, and I signed it for £300 a month. And for that, I was doing 30 unique Instagram posts a month, 30 unique Facebook posts a month, and 4 YouTube videos. And keep in mind, I was curating all the content as well. So not only shooting it, editing it, posting it, growing the social platforms, and reporting, all of that for a very laughable £300 a month. But anyways, it's 6 months on, I'm trudging along, I'm doing all the things that I now tell my students and just my general following not to do, which is send proposals, have multiple meetings drawn out, and not follow any approach or systematic timeline to close a client. Just kind of wing it, basically. So as I said, I'm trudging along, I'm sending out all of these audits. So kind of similar to this video right here, I set up lighting, just some cheap LED lights that I had back in the day. I'd set up my camera, I'd have my yellow notepad, and by the way, I'm gonna try and see if I have any uploaded straight to YouTube, and I'm gonna throw a minute example of some of the video audits that I was doing. I'm currently sitting here at my home office. I've currently been looking at your digital marketing for both the Noble Gentleman and Perfo cars. So let's get started. Actually, let me tell you a little bit about myself and my company. So my name is Iman, I'm the CEO of IAG Media. We're a full-service digital marketing agency. Some of our clients include Bang & Olufsen, Zebra Fuel, as you know, Athlete, and a bunch of cool, innovative companies. We do things from content marketing, email marketing, Facebook advertising, web development, social media marketing, and a bunch of content and graphic work. So let's get to the notes. Let's start off with the Noble Gentleman. I do have a few key insights. Number one, I'll draw from what I learned in the restaurant industry. So if a customer goes in and they have a flawless experience, the likeliness of them coming back a second time is 40%. If they come back a second time and once again, they have an amazing experience, the likeliness of them coming back a third time is 43%. Now, if on the third visit, they have an amazing experience again, the likeliness of them becoming a lifetime customer is 72%. Now, when I say lifetime, that's an average duration of 2 years because people move away and whatnot, but nonetheless. So I don't know what the carryover is from the restaurant industry to the grooming industry, but what I will say is when I find a good barber, I stick with him for a long time. So as I said, I'd have my little yellow notepad in front of me, and this is when I was still living with my mom, and I'd be auditing these companies' businesses. But the issue is these days when I send out audits, or when I try to get that first touch point with a client, I just open up a tool called Loom, I start recording, I record the audit, and then there's a link immediately ready to go that I can send out to the client. I've literally sent that business probably 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 customers from me recommending it so much. But I didn't have that tool back in the day. So then I would go in, I'd edit it, upload it to YouTube. This is what I was doing, and I was doing 3-4 of those a day for 6 months, and I was getting some meetings. I was trying to sell them, I was sending out proposals, I was having multiple meetings. As I said, literally all the things that I recommend you don't do, and nothing was working for me. But I don't know why, it just didn't faze me. Of course, I felt frustration, the fact that I'd have a deal that I really thought I was gonna close and it fell through. But I think maybe one of the things about the fact that there's so many SMA related videos out there, and you can see people scaling up their agencies and just having ridiculous success. Maybe even some of you guys watch some of my student interviews of agency owners making $65,000 a month, $18,000 a month, even just $4,000 a month, but they managed to do that in 30 days. And it can be quite disheartening. Back in early 2017, there weren't too many of those videos, and if they were, I definitely wasn't watching. So for me, I didn't really feel disgruntled. I just kept going at it, and I just kept chipping away at it until I reached turning point. And I feel as though every single agency owner out there has that turning point where things just click and things just work. Every agency owner has that, not once, but multiple times in their agency. There's multiple points where you look at it and you're like, I'm gonna have to change something to get to the next level with my agency. Whether that be signing your first client, pushing past the $10,000 a month mark, or getting into the $50,000 a month territory with your agency. And lo and behold, I had my turning point. And what happened was I actually signed my second client ever, a company called Athlete, who have now rebranded to Genflow. Sean, who's the CEO and founder, is someone I consider a mentor to me. And I'd say that client really did change my life because it sparked this turning point. So I signed them. The next client I signed was actually a guy called James Taylor. He was a personal trainer. The third client I signed was a guy called Rue. And once again, he was a personal trainer. So I forgot to mention, James was $1,500 a month. Rue was 750 pounds a month. After that, I signed a cooking show. Very odd niche, but hey. And they were 750 pounds a month as well. And then the last client that I signed within that 30-day time frame, or at least in terms of the date that I signed Athlete, now GenFlow, was a company called Zebra Fuel. And that was for 2,500 pounds a month, the largest retainer that I had ever had at that point. And there you go, within the space of 30 days, I actually scaled from making 300 pounds a month to making right around 7,400 pounds a month. And for any of you guys wondering, within those 30 days, I did actually drop that first client that I had for 300 pounds. So yeah, there we go, 7,400 pounds, which by the way, the title of this video says 10,000, but it was actually technically $9,600 a month. So I apologize there, just thought I'd round up. But the real point that I want to talk about in this video is how I actually managed to get to that point, how I actually managed to scale to $10,000 a month. And keep in mind, that's recurring revenue. That's month on month. That's not like making a sale of a car and you get a commission, or selling a product online and that's a one-time sale. This is a recurring monthly retainer. Now, that's not to say that these clients stay on forever, but those specific clients, all of them stayed on for more than 1 month minimum. But some clients like Zebra Fuel, and then there was a couple clients right after that point that stayed on for 8-9 months. Anyways, the reason that I did it, I'd say, is mainly down to two things. And these are two things that so many agency owners are being held back by in 2020. The first thing is patience and not understanding that there's that turning point. And number two is expectations. So let's break down the first one. Now, as many of you guys know, I run GrowYourAgency.com, and that puts me in this unique position where I've literally seen the lives and the stories of thousands and thousands of agency owners across every single continent, across 60+ countries. I've seen people work so obnoxiously hard on their agency, and some people just kind of give it their 20 or 30%. And I've seen the people who give their 20 or 30% go ahead and make $10,000 in their first month in recurring revenue, only sign their first $1,500, $2,500 a month client 6 months after they start. Sounds pretty harsh, right? Well, the honest truth is it is. And what you need to understand is that hard work, commitment, investing in yourself, and making sure that you have the right tools, systems, processes, all this is so important in your success with having an agency. But at the end of the day, there's always that element of luck, of timing that comes into it. And as I said, I've seen people who really deserve to get their first client in the first month, get it in month 6. And I've seen people who, to be honest, deserve to get their first client probably after 6 months because of the lack of effort that they're putting in, get their first client within the first 10 days. And that's what you need to understand. And what subconsciously I didn't internalize, but for some reason I kept going, and I feel as though that's because of point number 2. To be quite frank, with the amount of work that I was putting in and the amount of outreach that I was doing, I deserved to get my second client much sooner than 6 months, but I kept chipping away at it because there's a quote, when it rains, it pours. And that's actually pertaining more to when something bad happens, usually a lot more bad stuff soon follows, AKA when it rains, it pours. But I think that applies for both the good things in life and the bad things. When you get that first client, or at least in my case, that first sort of sizable big client, or at least 1,900 pounds a month was big to me at that point, it gives you just a sense of confidence, and you get this momentum going, and you start to build all these positive feedback loops. And that's kind of what leads to, as I said, when it rains, it pours, in a positive sense. So for those of you guys who have been making your cold calls, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, doing your cold emails, sending your cold looms, maybe even doing walk-ins, maybe going to meetups and networking events and trying to find business owners face to face, and it's been 4 months but no closed clients, you need to understand that there is that tipping point, and you need to have faith in that tipping point, because in the same way, I've been very honest with you here, and I've told you, sometimes the people who deserve to sign a client in month 1 only end up signing a client in month 6. It happens running the leading education company on earth for agency owners. I can also tell you that I've never seen anyone consistently put in the work and do the amount of outreach that they know they should do and not get a client within 6 months. And I'm gonna say that again because there's no one that can genuinely, from the bottom of their heart, without making excuses for themselves, say that they haven't done the amount of outreach that is necessary, and they know that is necessary to get their first client who hasn't gotten a client within 6 months. And you know, you just gotta put in the hours. So I'd say that is the biggest secret to how I managed to scale to $10,000 per month within 30 days. But the only reason that was possible was because of point number 2, which is expectations. You need to understand that most of the best athletes, most of the best rappers, performers, most of the best businessmen, they put in the work with no real expectation of accolades or rewards. In the same way, I put in the work because I had no expectation. I knew that, hey, if this takes me 18 months, what's my other option gonna be? Go to university? So I had no expectations. So for me, if I went to a meeting, I didn't close them, and I'm on a 4-month drought since my first client, I'm okay with that because I don't have this warped expectation. And I feel as though a lot of the content out there right now is geared towards make money online easily, easiest way to make $100 a day, how to make passive income, this, that. It's all just very quick, and the expectation, mainly the time frame actually. You know, people saying do within 30 days, do within a week. And I know I can even hold up my hand and say at times I have a part to play in it, because sometimes I showcase students that have had very accelerated success. But I'll always try to make videos more like this where I set a timeline and I tell you the cold hard truth, which is sometimes you deserve to sign a client in the first month, but sometimes it might take you 6 months. So I want you to remove any expectations from your mind and realize that, hey, even if it takes 12 months, what's your other option gonna be? Go to university, stay in your job. And once again, I never recommend that anyone quit their job until their agency is making the same amount as their work and there's someone who lives far below their means. So someone who has a long run rate, which means how much money do you have saved and what's your current monthly expenses and what is your run rate, the amount of months you can survive, even if say you sign no clients or you lose all your clients, etc., etc. So really my point here is, if you're at school and you're trying to build an agency on the side, if you're in college, you're trying to build an agency on the side, if you have a job and you're trying to build an agency on the side, or if you're genuinely just in some middle ground in your life where you're just building your business and it's fine and you have someone to do it, maybe you're living with your parents or whatever, as I said, what's your other choice? I truly urge you to remove any sort of expectation in your mind. I want you to set goals. I want you to set intentions. I want you to visualize. I want you to know that in a year, you're gonna get to a certain point. But over a 3-month or a 6-month slope, I want you to remove any expectations you have for growing your agency and just find joy and passion in doing the work. And something that I say all the time is stack those private victories. You can't earn your public victory until you've stacked enough private victories, until you've done the things when no one else is watching. You gotta stack those, and then that's how you get the public victory. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight as to my journey when I first started and almost my sense of naivety, to be honest, because as I said, for me, I signed my first client August of 2016, my second client March of 2017. In that period, I didn't know what SMMA was. I didn't know there was YouTube videos about it. I didn't have any of these expectations. I'm just like, I will keep chipping away at it until I sign another client. And it was really as simple as that. So I hope you take some lessons with you there, which is keep working until you reach that tipping point, because when it rains, it pours. And I mean that in a positive way. And second, remove all expectations for yourself, because no matter what, it will happen if you keep working at it. But there is always an element of timing, of luck. I mean, there's so many elements involved with it, but those are some, just to name a few. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Go ahead and leave a comment what video you don't want to see next. And I hope you have a great day.
Working with someone else on a couple of V's. What do you really think of the nigga that's making your beats? I've done things for him I thought